Welcome in to the Pick Aside podcast, a picks edition, a full week one of football.
We made it.
In college football.
We're here.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to dig into this. So just off the top, we are restructuring the way that we're doing these picks episodes because last year these would end up being an hour and a half long. We would go through 30 games. We'd go nuts. And I don't think it services anyone. I'll give an example off the top. A game that I was looking at takes place Friday night, and I wanted to bet it. And I had the honest conversation with myself. You don't need to do this. It's Wyoming and Akron. If we commit any time, if we commit any time to Wyoming and Akron on this podcast, everybody will turn it off or skip through it. There's no point. I looked at it and I said, Akron's playoff ineligible, postseason ineligible. They were like faking kids' grades. The school might close. Easy fade. Just bet Wyoming. And then I looked in the mirror and said, Shea, you don't need to bet Wyoming football at Akron week one. You don't have an edge. There's no reason for this. Nobody cares. So instead of offering you a bunch of nonsense like that, each week we're going to pick out 5 to 8 games that you will actually watch. We'll talk about them, whether we're betting them or not. And then at the end, if there's leftover stuff we want to get to, we'll get to it in short form rather than committing an hour to talk about a bunch of nonsense.
Works for me. Get in, get out. We're going to be efficient this year.
That's right. Work smarter, not harder. There is something I want to talk to you about before we get to the picks.
Okay.
This is purely sports talk, and it's something I think both of us are a little bothered by.
Okay.
Bear Bachmeier, the quarterback at BYU. Have you
47.
seen what number?
47.
It's the number on his hat.
Yeah.
47 is not a quarterback number.
No, yeah. It's the same reason why Matthew Golden with the Packers is destined to fail. You can't be a receiver wearing 22. You can't be a quarterback wearing 47. Like, we used to be a proper football country, Shea.
Exactly. It's nonsense. Sky Moore was the first one. What was he, 24 as a
24.
receiver? What happened to him?
Fucking nonsense.
Gone.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Fade BYU. BYU win total under. Their quarterback wears number 47.
Yep.
It's enough for me to be just totally out.
Sometimes you just go off of vibes.
All right, let's just get into the slate. This is not the typical week one where you get an appetizer to the regular season.
Sir.
This is the entree right out of the gate. Week one did not disappoint. 3 top 10 matchups, a few brand matchups that aren't top 10 matchups. So we've got 5 games I think we really want to discuss, and we'll just start big noon kickoff.
Yeah.
Where they said Dave Portnoy was banned, but then actually he wasn't, and it was all a publicity stunt by Fox to get more people to watch their pregame show, which honestly isn't terrible.
No, there's certain times where I watch that pregame show and I'm like, game day and big noon are 2 ships crossing in the night.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because I kind of think Big Noon has surpassed game day purely from a content perspective. But this game is fantastic. I'm a little frustrated it's not a night game.
Yeah. That's the thing that always pisses me off about Big Noon. Like, it's one of the 3 best games of the day usually, and I want to see that at 6:30.
Texas and OSU, the number 1 team in the country, going to Columbus, taking on Ohio State in the shoe. I don't know about you. It's the last place that I would want my team to start their season.
Yeah.
With Ohio State putting up a banner, the fans are going to be going nuts. It's Julian Sain's debut. It's a brand new defensive line. It's a partially new offensive line. But I'm low on kind of both teams. And for me, just looking at the numbers, this is purely a numbers play on Texas is better everywhere, so why is Ohio State favored? And I'm going to fly into that hammer and bet Ohio State laying 1.5.
Yeah, I don't see it that way because like this was a 3-point spread. It's moved down to 1.5. It actually, I think it even started at 3.5 for Texas, and it's gotten down to 1.5. I think you're seeing a lot of momentum go the Texas way in terms of the line, and like it's not like Texas is playing Mississippi State and we're seeing a weird number. They're playing the defending champion, Ohio State. So I'm not buying into that part as much here. I will say I really like the under in this game.
I love it.
47.5. I think it was in the 50s not too long ago, about a week ago. But you're talking about 2 teams that are replacing their quarterbacks. And I get that Arch played a little bit last year. but you've got a really, really strong defense at Texas still, like one of the best defenses in the country. And I still trust Ohio State's defense to replenish year after year after year. It's what they do.
Do you trust their coordinator?
That's where we get a little bit dicey. And I think it works both ways, though, because there's a new offensive coordinator as well for Ohio State. Now, Brian Hartline's not new to the team. He's been there for a while. But I just think that there's too many moving parts on both sides of the ball, frankly, that is going to make points really tough to come by in this game.
It's also maybe a little galaxy brain, but every Ohio State kickoff game in a spot like this, the Ohio State Notre Dame games the last couple of years, it always feels like a low-scoring grudge match.
Oh, yeah. It feels like Sunday on Saturday.
It's like
the type of game you get.
NFL-style football, and that's why you're seeing an NFL-style total. Now, this would be on the high end in the NFL, but usually a college total between powers is going to be in the 50s.
Yeah.
This being 47.5 leads me one direction. So I'm playing the Ohio State side simply because I'm low on both teams long term, and I like getting home action, and I just want to have a bet on the side. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying run to your bookie and place Ohio State -1.5. I am doing something with the knowledge that I don't love it, but I like it, and I want to have a play. Under 47.5 might be my favorite bet on the board all week.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't see how these teams get to 25 points apiece.
Listen, this is for Julian saying this is his first start, and this is the environment that you get. And there's a lot of pressure with that. You are the quarterback for the reigning national champions, and you have to fill those shoes. You have to fill those expectations. And on the other side, too, I think the same thing goes for Arch. Like, I get that he started a couple games last year when Ewers went down with injury, but and a lot of the calculus behind them being kind of happy with Arch starting some games last year was we don't want his first start ever to be at Ohio State week 1. That's still a daunting task, even for someone who has started games before. He's still green to the college game, and I just think that I lean Texas because I think there's a little bit more continuity there with what you're working with.
Fair.
But I don't feel strongly either side on the game itself, on the spread. I feel much stronger on the total.
The one thing I'd say about Arch Manning, has the hype hit a point where he can almost only underwhelm? It feels like barring a Joe Burrow LSU 2019 season, any result will be underwhelming because the hype has gotten out of control.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't have to be Joe Burrow LSU to go out and win a national title.
That's fair.
He doesn't have to be Joe Burrow LSU to necessarily win the Heisman even.
Fair.
But if he's like an all-SEC first-team quarterback, I think that's perfectly meeting your expectations.
Is that where it lands then? That for Arch to meet expectations and not underwhelm, it's got to be you have to take a trip to New York. You have to make the playoff and make a splash.
And it's probably unfair.
Yeah, of course it is. That's kind of my point.
It has gotten him into certain spots. Like, he may go higher in the NFL draft than he should. He may get an all-SEC. He may, frankly, win the Heisman. Like, Ty's going to go to Arch Manning. And if Texas is on the line of getting in or not getting into the playoff, Texas is getting into the playoff because they have Arch Manning. Like, he will get things because of what his last name is, but he will also be given unfair expectations as well.
It's just how I'm approaching the game in part 2, because people talk about Julian saying like he's some dead body nobody.
No, he's a 5-star.
He was the number 3 recruit in his class.
Yeah.
I don't know any more that Arch Manning will be good than I know that Julian Sayin will be good. And I think the hype is on one side of things. That's where you see the momentum come Texas's way. And I almost wonder if it should still be the -3 that it was. Where is this just Arch Manning's steam? Texas is public in the game, and people are firing on Arch Manning because they know the name, they love the name, they're excited about the kid, and they don't know anything about Julian Sayin, when the reality is we know very little about both of them.
For sure. And frankly, in a game like this, like, the spread should be 3. It shouldn't be 2 or 1. It should be 3.
Yeah.
Right? Like, these games are decided by field goals. Maybe like you get a 27-23 or something like that. But
it's where I feel like if it should be 3, I don't get value betting a +1.5 on Texas. I certainly don't get value on an even money line with a dog. I'll just lay the 1.5 in a game I want to bet and be okay with it.
Yeah.
All right. 2:30 slate, there's a little bit of a gap, but there is one game that I think people will want to watch because it's two staple brands, and it's a team that wants to bounce back from a season that people called disappointing last year. Bama and Florida State. Bama playing in Tallahassee, and it's a revenge game for the Seminoles after they got left out of the playoff. One problem, they might fucking suck again.
Yeah.
I don't get the Thomas Castellanos thing. I don't get Gus Malzahn as offensive coordinator. And I said it on our preview podcast. Mike Norvell has 2 bad years, 1 phenomenal year, and 1 other bad year. Maybe the great year was just an outlier where we were both on them that season to win a national title because you had a senior quarterback, you had a top 5 pick in the NFL draft at the time in Jared Verse. They were loaded for bear. Last year we were on them to be under the win total. I didn't think they'd go 3-9 or whatever it was.
2-10, I think. Yeah.
But we were both on them to go under because they had lost so much. This year, I don't think they've really gained much of anything. The quarterback question mark that was there a year ago with DJU is there again with Thomas Castellanos. The coach question mark, was it an anomaly or not? Well, kind of looks like an anomaly. And I think Bama might just win by 30.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel. The number feels trappy, though, doesn't it?
It does.
13.5. So I'm
hanging
staying
it right
away,
inside 2 touchdowns.
Ultimately, I'm passing on this game because to me, it's all going to be contingent on how many plays does Ty Simpson make in this game. I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to see Bama's defense handle this Florida State offense. I feel very strongly about that. There is nothing that gives me any sort of confidence in this Florida State offense. Now, could Florida State maybe pop like a 65-yard touchdown? Sure. Like there's fluke plays. Maybe you get a field goal here or there. If anything, I would maybe lean under the 50.5, but I could also see Bama just opening up a 40 spot on this Florida State team. It is on the road, so that makes things a little bit more difficult for Bama, but if I had to go a certain way, I'd go Bama minus 13.5, but I don't feel strong enough because the number is what it is.
I'm betting it. I get that it stinks getting it just inside 2 touchdowns. It feels like they're setting you up. How does FSU score?
It's the way I feel.
If Texas isn't the best defense in the SEC, Alabama is, and vice versa. I think Alabama's defense has a chance to be one of the 5 best in the country.
I think it might be the best in the country.
If their offense is any good, they bomb Florida State. Yeah. I don't know how FSU can score with a Gus Malzahn offense and Thomas Castellanos and a leaky O-line and no real skill players that I care about that have genuine first-round NFL pedigree against a defense that feels like everybody might have first-round NFL pedigree. I don't get how Florida State scores. So I admit the line's trappy, but I like it enough. I'm going to bet Alabama laying 13.
All right, walk with me here. All right, walk with me here. Florida State team total is set at 17.5. Now you're paying a little bit of juice, minus 125 if you shop around. Minus 125 at under 17.5 team total on Florida State. I feel pretty good about that one, actually.
I do, too. The one fear I have betting something like that is 17.5 is a weird number where, like, Bama can win this game 42-20 and cover a spread, and you lose on the team total under. And there can be fluke shit, too. Like, one Ty Simpson low red zone fumble, sudden change has Florida State on the 5-yard line and they get a free tutty, or like 17.5 is just, you're swinging at such a low number and the fluke stuff can upset things. Maybe there's a punt return or some freaky shit that happens in college that upsets
field goal
you.
Or mishandled snap on a,
I don't hate it, but I'm more comfortable just betting the side.
Right. I'm staying away from the game entirely.
Main entree, night slate. This to me is the more exciting game even than Texas-Ohio State. I get Texas-Ohio State gets top billing with Arch Manning in the 1 versus 3. These two teams have national title aspirations. These two teams have experienced coaches. These two teams have experienced quarterbacks. Both of them are in the Heisman odds. I like both of them more than I like either quarterback in Ohio State and
I
Texas.
would say these are the 2 best quarterbacks in America going head-to-head.
I agree. LSU at Clemson. Death Valley at Death Valley. Clemson laying, depending on where you look, I think ESPN Bet had them at minus 4.5. There are some 3.5s out there. So if you like Clemson, shop around and find the best line. I am somebody who likes Clemson. Obviously, we talked about it in the preview. We both believe they're winning the national title.
Yeah.
They have 16 returning starters. They're probably the most talented team in America on paper. I think they have the best quarterback in America, and I hate Brian Kelly. And until Brian Kelly shows me that he can just microwave a defense through the transfer portal, which he's tried in consecutive seasons, and it has not worked. Like, I can't get last year's USC kickoff game in Vegas out of my head.
Oh, my God, yeah.
The defense was horrible. You're going to...
We know he's already... We're going to get the bang the table moment after the game, right?
And this isn't neutral site against a Lincoln Riley offense that ended up being bad. This is at night at the other Death Valley. They're running down the hill. Clemson's going to be going nuts. It's the most talented team they've had since 2020. I get the line stinks. You're getting the wrong side of a field goal, but I kind of think Clemson wins by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, I think it's 10. I really do. I feel really good about this Clemson team. This game feels to me like, all right, it's going to be a fun first half, back and forth, maybe a stop here or there, but like it's going to be blow for blow for that first half. And then LSU's defense lets go of the rope middle of the third quarter. And then you see Clemson really separate. It'll be a 10-point game, but it'll feel closer than that. And I think this Clemson team, they're too well built on both sides of the ball, whereas LSU is built really well on the offensive side. The defense, I'm in wait-and-see mode.
I think the other argument you can make against LSU, if there's one thing you wanted to look at their offense and go, I have questions, they lost a ton off the offensive line. Losing Will Campbell is enough, but it is like almost fully rebuilt. It was bad last year with Will Campbell. They had 3 freshmen in the interior. Can they, with an offensive line in flux, can they carry over the production that Nuss is going to need against a Clemson defense? I don't feel like they can.
Well, I think the other part, too, like we're talking about Death Valleys, right? And when you go to Clemson, this is their biggest home game since when? Like, you play in the ACC. I get you got the rivalry with South Carolina, and maybe I'm underselling that component of it, but, I mean, Clemson's kicked South Carolina's ass for, I mean, they didn't last year, but, like, they've handled them. They've been the big brother in the matchup for years.
Last year was in Charleston, right?
I don't remember where the game was played. You may be right on that. But yeah, like this Clemson team, like when you play in the ACC, you don't play a lot of like gotta get up for it games. You've been big brother in this conference for years.
No, and like the Wake Forest rivalry doesn't move the needle when you've started winning national titles. That was a fun thing back in the 2000s when Clemson was ass. Now they've become so much more real under Dabo. You're going to get a home crowd at night that's going nuts for this moment.
Oh, and if you've ever been to that stadium before,
I haven't.
I have. It is the loudest venue I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, I need to get a game there. This would have been tremendous. A great one.
And if you get that fan base liquored up all Saturday, you give them all Saturday. It's gonna be a party there.
If this were in the other Death Valley, I might feel differently because I don't think anybody just walks into the Bayou at night
and I would agree
and walks out. But it's not, and I don't trust a Brian Kelly defense to go on the road at night to that place and pull off a win or even really stay all that competitive in the game. Like this could, I'm a little nervous about a backdoor, but 3.5, I'm happy to lay it. And look, I'm going to be favorite heavy this weekend. I'm also playing a much shorter card than I typically do because, last year I played like 20 games in week 1. Then I sat down in week 2. I had my eyes fucked out. I'm already digging my way out of a hole, so I'm avoiding that, playing a smaller card. And I hate being favorite heavy, but it's what it is. Let's move to Sunday, and then we'll wrap anything we missed at the end. 2 games on Sunday, I think both deserve your attention. The first is a little sneaky at 2 o'clock. Virginia Tech goes on the road to South Carolina. This is an interesting kind of tale of 2 teams. South Carolina reminds me a lot of what Virginia Tech was a year ago, where everybody's just throwing belief behind them. They're back. This is it. Lenora Sellers is a Heisman candidate. Shane Beamer's built such a great program. Their roster's awesome. They're playing this game at home. It's going to be a super hostile environment that VTech's walking into. VTech, on the other end, last year was that same darling. They could win the ACC. They could make the playoff. Enter Sandman is back. It went really sideways. This is Brent Pry now or never. If it's a bad year, he loses his job. I don't think that's the case in South Carolina. They went all in, VTech, and rebuilding their philosophy offensively, rebuilding the cast of characters on their offense and on their defense, rebuilding their defensive philosophy. And if you look at some of the luck stuff last year, they were hugely unlucky. Now you get Robert Griffin's offensive coordinator to unlock Kyron Jones. I don't know that they win the game, but I like getting the right side of a touchdown. I'm going to play VTech plus 7.5.
And just for clarity's sake, this game's in Atlanta. too.
Got it.
It's
Yeah.
at Mercedes-Benz.
Neutral. That's even better.
It'll be still heavy South Carolina. They'll travel. Not a far trip at all for
That's
them.
my bad on the location.
No,
But
you're
South
good.
Carolina's the home team.
But yeah, no, I kind of just look at this game as I see a lot of uncertainty. I see uncertainty on the Virginia Tech side because you've got the bounce back factor. You've got a desperate coach, which can work well for you. It can also go sideways and you won't see him after week 6. And then on the South Carolina side, I mean, that team lost so much on that defense last year. That was so good. That was a big reason why they won a lot of those games. I vividly remember you and I out watching South Carolina, Texas A&M, right?
Yep.
Like, that was such a fun game.
Boy, and
such a fun game. And
we saw that spot, though. We played A&M.
and rest in peace, Poorhouse, by the way. Like that.
Yeah, it's one of the best.
One of the
bars.
best. But yeah, the South Carolina team, like they've got the quarterback, they've got the coach back. Like everything should be there for them to have a pretty good season. But you're losing some stuff up front on both sides of the ball. I just wonder if it's going to be too much. Lenora Sellers, you got to put the cape on, and the Virginia Tech side. I'm willing to be late to the Virginia Tech party this year. I know you're early to it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to be late to it.
The other thing I like, and whether you value this or not, it's not gospel, but I think it's a worthwhile tool to use when you're trying to handicap games. South Carolina's got 78% of the bets, making up only 58% of the money. That adds up with the perception I think exists that they were great last year and people love Sellers and Beamer and they're high on South Carolina this year. But when I see VTech getting 22% of the bets, making up almost half the money, it tells me the smart people are on that side, and South Carolina's getting a lot of the public tickets.
Yeah.
I would rather be on that side. It's not gospel. It doesn't mean it'll win, but it's the right side of a
And
touchdown.
you get the hook, yeah.
It's a team I like. I'm taking VTech plus 7.5.
All right.
Last game before we get to the best of the rest. Notre Dame, true road game
Yeah.
in Miami at Hard Rock. Notre Dame's got national title hopes again. I would argue so does Miami. Anytime you spend $3 million on a quarterback and you're in the ACC, you have national title hopes. Notre Dame, a 2.5-point road favorite. This is a really interesting one. I want to bet it, but I need my arm twisted a little bit to actually pull the trigger.
I have one play on this game. It's not a side, it's a total.
Okay.
The total czar is back, by the way. I'm firing
There we
totals
go.
left and
Let's
right
go.
here. I like the under in this game. You got new quarterbacks on both sides. And I just think when you're talking about a team that is built through the portal like Miami is, your defense, I like the ability to build the defense and have that thing firing early on more than I like it on the other side. Offense, I think, takes a little more time to get accustomed to. And like Notre Dame, we know what this team can be defensively. Like, yeah, you lose some stuff up front, you lose Xavier Watts, but Marcus Freeman, he churns out defenses every single year. I think this is going to be no different. You're going up against Carson Beck, who does not scare me one bit. CJ Carr on the other side.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, like you're playing with a wild card here, and you're going on the road, albeit Hard Rock's not going to be the most intimidating environment of all time. But when you give me new quarterbacks and defenses that I can get behind on both sides, I like playing the under here at 49.5, even though it's a lower number.
You actually did twist. I'm going to play the game because I'm going to watch the game. I want to have action on it.
Yeah.
I wanted to play Notre Dame laying 2.5 because I just think they're the better team, and I fucking hate Mario Cristobal. He's a moron. Enough with we're not going to knee it down, we're going to run the ball, which he did at Oregon too and lost to Stanford. Then he did it at Miami and lost to Georgia Tech.
Shout out Matt Campbell.
You know as well as anybody, pissed down his leg against Syracuse with a chance to go to the ACC title game last year, blew a shot at the playoff. I can't stand him. I think he's terrible. Marcus Freeman, I think, is fantastic. And if I believe in anybody recycling quarterbacks, well, he's done it 2 straight years. So I kind of feel like Marcus Freeman's the guy that can get that done. But they lost so much defensively. And while I still believe they're good defensively, maybe great, I don't think they'll be what they were a year ago. Jeremiah Love's probably the best player in the game.
Yeah. can get
but
behind that.
none of it is enough for me to trust Notre Dame. It's not just going on the road. It's also there is no worse time to go to Miami than right now. You can't replicate
No.
the humidity. You can't replicate the heat.
You get a bit of a break because it's at night, so the sun's not beaming down on you, but it's still going to be hot and humid.
You can't replicate it in camp in South Bend, Indiana. I don't know what either offense is going to look like, so I'm going to ride with you. I'll take the under.
All right.
I think that's a good play.
Yeah,
I'll move off of the Notre Dame side.
And 2.5 for Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's the significantly better team, but you are on the road, and it is weird that you're putting them inside that key of 3. So I stayed away, but Notre Dame would have been the side I would play.
All right, best of the rest. I want to see if you can get me to actually pull a trigger on this, and we'll only spend a minute talking about it. Utah, UCLA. Utah's laying 5.5. UCLA probably sucks,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Nico is a huge X factor. Maybe he is the prospect we thought he was, but I feel really bad about that. After you transfer out of Tennessee, you give up money to do it. You're playing at night at home in a stadium nobody goes to.
Yeah.
And Utah, we both like as a bounce back team. The number's only 5.5. The problem is that it's actually been moving down. And I don't know if this is a game I necessarily need to bet.
I would say wait it out. Get to Saturday, see where we're at Saturday, see if the number's appetizing enough at that point. Because, I mean, you're sitting at 5.5. If it moves to 6.5, if it moves to 6, I don't feel like you're losing all that much. Getting to 6.5 probably hurts a little bit, but this could be a Utah blowout spot where you're just defense travels. You've got a new quarterback, a new offensive coordinator, but they come from the same place. So you've got that continuity there. They know that you're not teaching a new language to them. Kyle Whittingham has a significant coaching advantage in this game. I don't care what happened last year. Utah has the, by far and away, better coach in this game. I like Utah. I would lean that way. 5.5 doesn't scare me as much.
All right, I'll probably end up playing it. The only other one I had for you, and I imagine this will be in line with one of your games that you'd like to talk about, but just as a fan, I kind of want to bet Michigan State laying 20.5 at home against Western Michigan. And
Why?
Because
you can only be hurt.
I kind of believe in the Aiden Childs bounce back a little bit.
Okay.
It's going to be a more high-flying passing
Why did you think this was a game that was in my wheelhouse that I was going to be excited
Because I
about?
figure you're going to take us to Syracuse and Tennessee.
Okay.
I figured we'd go the
All
fan
right, we'll
route
go alma
here a little
mater.
bit.
I think my game's a little bit bigger than yours, but okay.
No shit, dude. Western Michigan is playing in one of these games.
We
Like, of
opened it.
course the one without Western Michigan is bigger.
My senior year, we opened at Western Michigan. Went to Kalamazoo, Michigan.
I
that
tell you,
day.
I'm fucking tired of playing these MAC games on Friday night to open the year, too. I'm so sick of it. Like, you get the Central Michigan game last year where they were down at halftime. I was
Your
I was
crash out was
flipping
tremendous that
shit.
game.
Now you get the Western Michigan team here. I just buy that if Jonathan Smith has a brain, if Jonathan Smith is half of what you paid him to be, you win this game by 28 points or more. If he's not, well, then I'm going to lose money and I'll be really fucking angry about it, and hopefully that'll create some decent content for us.
All right. Root for radio.
Fair? Like,
your mantra.
Don't you want me to feel happy again?
Yeah, but if they win by 20 on a backdoor from Western Michigan, then it's lose-lose for you.
I guess. But I don't know. It's not something I'm running to bet. It's
Yeah.
just I looked at it and I'm like, I think Michigan State's offense could be decent.
Okay.
With Childs. They went out and got some wide receivers. There's more talent. It's not just Nick Marsh now. Their offensive line is upgraded. I'm going to play it because if Jonathan Smith can't do it, then I'll want him fired.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
What do you got?
This is my favorite play of the week. And
wow.
We're doing it on a school night. It is it is Baylor hosting Auburn on Friday night. This is a Friday night game alert. So if you are listening to this Friday morning or Thursday night, you have to get this play in now. You cannot wait till Saturday. If it's Saturday, you are already too late. Baylor, a 2.5 point dog at home against Auburn. Tell me what I'm missing here. Is this just SEC bias pushing the number Auburn's way?
I have no idea.
Auburn should not be
I know.
a road favor against any Power 4 team that is among the cloud of favorites to win the conference.
I'll tell you what my biggest issue is the favorite to win the conference or the people in the realm of being favored to win the Big 12 would be like plus $1 billion if they occupied the SEC. So that's.
But I think Baylor would have better odds to win the SEC than Auburn has to win the SEC.
What talked me out of it was I don't like either coach. I hate Hugh Freeze. One, he's a piece of shit. Two, I don't get the deal with the two coordinators. One guy does first down, one guy does third down, and Hugh Freeze can override them whenever the fuck he wants. Defensively, I don't think they're any good. Jackson Arnold, get the fuck out of my face. I don't like anything going on at Auburn. Baylor, I get the hype. I don't like getting on board with Dave Aranda. He should have been fired last year. He saved the season. They played great at the end of last season. He saved his job. Remember, there was that weird moment where he was fired, and then they took it back because they beat Colorado or whatever it was. Like there was some weird shit that went, or they played close with Colorado.
They won their final 6 games. Like they flipped a switch.
But it was some weird moment where it's like, yeah, Dave Aranda's fired. Oh, just kidding. We're keeping Dave Aranda. That always makes me a little nervous.
I will say this, though. You return 13 starters. That's the 9th most in the country. And for week 1, that number matters a lot to me.
The final, I agree. And the final thing that scared me is you're not wrong. Baylor should be favored. Why aren't they? Like, what am I not seeing that the market is?
It's the SEC influx, the SEC influence.
Here's the other problem. Baylor's actually the public team.
Are they? Okay.
Which also scared the shit out of me. I was looking for ways to bet Baylor, and I couldn't find one. So I just made the full game stay away.
Okay.
It's another, I don't want to wake up week 2 and be in a hole because I pressed and forced a Baylor bet, so I just stayed away.
Yeah, the final 3 home games last year for Baylor, 40 points per game, 555 yards of offense per game. I just don't think Auburn can keep up with any of those numbers if you see that.
Fair.
In this game.
Listen, if I were going to bet the game, it would be Baylor. I'm just not doing it.
Fair enough. I'm very in on this Baylor team. I think that
shoot your shot, man.
Yeah, like Baylor, to me, I picked them to win the Big 12 this year. And I think that even
they're your team. Take them. Ride with them.
I think they have at-large potential. Like if they get to the Big 12 title game and lose, and they're 11 or I guess that would make them 12-1 or like 11-2 or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
I think there's still an outside chance they could get in.
Ride with your squad. I got no problem with it.
You want a little Syracuse, Tennessee flavor here?
Would love some.
We're going to Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Who would have thought the battle for the orange emoji is taking place at the Benz? Syracuse a 14-point dog in this game. Total set at 50.5. You know, like Tennessee's not an offensive juggernaut, but we know that they love to run the football. And I think they're going to try to do it again with a good stable of backs, even after losing Dylan Sampson. Both of these teams losing a lot of talent, but Syracuse is going to try to throw the ball a lot in this game. You know that Tennessee is going to be able to move the ball. I'm not high on Syracuse's defense this year, especially their run defense. I lean over 50.5 if I had to play the game. I would lean Syracuse being able to get a back door here, but
it's asking a lot.
And the fact that your starting quarterback was a late transfer into the program, albeit like Steve Angeli, he played at Notre Dame. Like the lights aren't going to be too bright for him. It should be a pretty Tennessee dominant crowd down there in Atlanta too. I can't get behind Syracuse as the play at plus 14, but I think that the game flow and what we learned about how Jeff Nixon calls offense for Syracuse from a season ago, they're going to try to it's going to be a long game. And when you give me more time to work with, I go over.
I'll tell you what, you sold me on the philosophy offensively on Syracuse, and if you throw me a Josh Heupel over, I'm like a dog to a bone.
All right.
I'm trusting the total czar. I'll join you.
All right. I'm pointing the laser pointer. You're just running after it.
Yeah, I'm like a lost cat. What else you got? Anything?
That is pretty much it for me. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything here. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. That's all I got. That'll do it. We'll be back on Monday with a weekend report, and we'll continue our NFL previews next week. We'll get 2 more episodes, wrap up the division previews, and next week you're going to get week 2 college and week 1 NFL. Full picks episodes. Football's back, man.
Yeah.
We are in midseason form. Put the car in drive and fucking go.
Cannot wait.
All right.
Cannot wait.
It's been another edition of the Pick a Side podcast. Shea, Norling, Tyler Rocky, as always.